Baby, wanna play a game? My online friend sent me that message while I was stuck working late at the office. So I just replied, can't right now. Still got work to do. Why are you still working at a time like this? Poor thing. I gave a weary reply, can't. I still have work to do. He slowly typed out a question mark. I was already full of complaints and had nowhere to vent. So I started typing furiously. Today the big boss is coming to the office, the one I told you before that I really can't stand. Our supervisor forced us to stay late just to impress him, trying to show off how well he leads the team. Do you think he's crazy or something? My online partner typed question marks all over the screen this time. No. Isn't your supervisor acting strangely? Just because they're staying late means they're a great leader. Isn't that actually more proof of their lack of skill? I've never seen someone so bad at sucking up before. But the boss you can't stand doesn't make much sense either. He might actually go for that kind of flattery. You've been through a tough time. Sweetie. I was still about to keep venting when the oddly unpredictable big boss showed up at the office door. He held his phone with one hand, his fingertip tapping lightly on the screen as he looked down slightly, appearing to be sending a message to someone. His expensive suit jacket was casually slung over one arm. His shirt was loosely untucked, sleeves rolled halfway up, giving off an effortlessly refined yet distant aura. Then he looked up. The expression in his eyes instantly silenced the carefree energy. The department head hurried forward with eager anticipation. At the same time, I received a new message from my online partner. Baby, are you not mad anymore? Can I show you my abs? I was about to agree. In the quiet office, Leo's low voice cut through. Why hasn't anyone left yet? Working late, the manager said with a nervous smile. Everyone's been really dedicated. And to support their efforts, I've stayed too. Leo cut him off. Are you actually busy? Or not? In an instant, beads of sweat formed at the supervisor's temple. Yes. There is work to do. Leo immediately called the supervisor outside. Within less than a minute, the supervisor returned looking dejected. His face was pale and his voice weak as he announced, "It's time to go home." The co-workers looked at each other, uncertain and uneasy. They quickly packed up and left in a hurry. When I got home, I naturally started streaming online with my long-distance partner to play games together. Maybe it was because I just heard the big boss speak recently. I couldn't help but notice that my online partner's voice sounded eerily similar to his. Especially in how they paused and emphasized certain words, it was almost identical. Baby, hurry up and get in the car. We need to move before the toxic zone closes in. He called out to me. Okay. I quickly climbed into the vehicle, then cautiously asked, "Can you say something for me to hear?" "What kind of thing? You're not moving at all, why say that?" He stretched out the words, each syllable slow and deliberate like a playful tease. "WHYUMOVA? AREYUWNFORME?" I completely gave up on the idea that their voices could be similar. If those two were actually the same person, the sun would have to rise from the west tomorrow. I was focused on my game, but my online friend wouldn't let it go. "What's wrong? Why did you suddenly want me to say that line?" He kept insisting until I finally told him the truth. "There was just a moment when I thought your voice sounded a lot like our boss." "The boss who harassed his female subordinate?" "Yeah. The story about the boss mistreating a female employee came from a former colleague in the presidential office. I heard that Leo tried to take advantage of her at the time. She refused, standing her ground firmly. And Leo told her to go handle her resignation through HR herself. I never could have imagined that someone who seemed so respectable on the surface was actually a hypocrite behind closed doors. I often vented about him to my online romance partner, which made him dislike her deeply in return. "Baby, how could my voice possibly sound like that kind of person?" His voice was tinged with hurt and a touch of stubbornness. You're hurting my feelings. I'm really upset now. I quickly comforted him, saying, Don't be mad. Don't be mad. It's not like that at all. You said it yourself. He pouted. I'm going to cut my vocal cords tomorrow. I don't want to sound like him. I couldn't help but laugh. Then how can I make you feel better? His attitude turned shy and flustered as he mumbled, You know what? I really did know. I tentatively called out, Brother. Humph. Boyfriend? His tone grew even more playful. Humph. I pulled out my secret move. Honey. He quickly said. Hee. I'm not mad anymore. Not only was he not mad anymore, I could practically feel him beaming through the screen. We played until 11 o'clock. I grabbed my pajamas and headed into the bathroom to freshen up. By the time I finished washing up and drying my hair, my affectionate online partner had already sent me a long string of messages. Baby, I just finished my bath. You're taking so long. But it feels nice just waiting for you to finish bathing. Just a friendly reminder, we did agree to meet in person this Saturday, right? I've already picked up the men's fragrance you like. On the day we meet, I want you to really like me. Baby, what outfit do you think I should wear? I've put together a few outfits, pick your favorite, and I'll wear it for you. I tapped on the photos he sent, and suddenly a drop of water fell from the tip of my hair onto the screen. Then the screen automatically went back to the chat interface. I blinked in confusion, turned off the hairdryer, and casually pulled my wet hair aside. Right then, a second drop and then a third splashed onto the screen. I grabbed a tissue to wipe the water off the screen. To my surprise, the screen suddenly became unusually responsive and automatically connected the video call without me touching it. I watched in disbelief as the call went through. The person on the other side sat calmly in front of the camera, their hair freshly washed and soft-looking. His features were perfectly balanced, delicate eyes, a sharp nose, and naturally rosy lips. The only downside was, that face was identical to the one I'd seen in the office just days ago. It was Leo. Realizing that, I quickly ended the video call without thinking. My hair was still dripping wet, but I didn't have time to care. All I could think about was, my online romance turned out to be my serious-minded boss, Leo. It sounded completely absurd and ridiculous, but the truth was right in front of me, leaving no room for denial. I tried to look back through past moments for any clues, but the shock of realizing Leo was my online match overwhelmed me. My mind couldn't focus on anything else. In the midst of my growing anxiety, another chilling thought suddenly struck me. Did he see me? Even if he did, it should be fine. We've never crossed paths at work, and he probably wouldn't recognize my face. But what if? What if we run into each other at the office one day? I'd be completely exposed. I felt uneasy and anxious, my mind racing with worry. Leo, who had been abruptly cut off mid-call, clearly wasn't doing well either. He sent a long string of messages right after. Baby, why did you hang up? Did you accidentally press the wrong button? I thought you might want to see what I look like. So I answered. I didn't mean to upset you. Baby, do you still like how I look? I just got out of the shower, so I might not be at my best. Let me send you a few more photos. Image. 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 This is how I usually look, hopefully. I'm a bit more presentable like this. Baby, do you like it? If just a moment ago I still held on to the faint hope that maybe I'd been mistaken, that my online match wasn't Leo, now I had to accept it completely. Because the photos he sent were clearly, unmistakably Leo. Dressed in a suit at a meeting, wearing a black windbreaker while climbing high ground, and leaping into the air in his basketball jersey. Every single photo was him. Unmistakably L. I felt completely shattered. He seemed just as overwhelmed, sending a voice message that sounded almost like a tearful plea. Baby, please don't ignore me. I'm really scared like this. My whole body went cold from the sound. Back then, I could still treat his playful affection as something charming and fun. Now that I know he's the cold and reserved Leo, I feel a chill run through me. How could he be so different like this? At work, he's always serious and composed, but behind the scenes he's completely the opposite. I typed slowly. Can you see me? He sounded really excited. I saw you. Such a stunningly beautiful woman. I was still wondering how striking a wet-haired silhouette could look when he sent another message. But I didn't get a good look at it. I only caught a glimpse of your little chin and tiny nose, so cute. I just want to give you a kiss. Did you just finish washing your hair? You should dry your hair properly. Or you might catch a cold. I'd feel awful if that happened. This really puts my nerves to the test. I used drying my hair as an excuse to pause this annoying conversation. The hairdryer hummed steadily as it blew warm air. I kept scrolling through my messages with my online love interest, still finding it hard to believe that this person was actually Leo. Maybe he's pretending? I'd heard of people using someone else's photo to flirt online before, so I held on to the last bit of hope and opened up a chat with my coworker. Hey, are you in the same group as Mr. Leo? Could you please take a screenshot of what his line profile looks like? My colleague replied, I'm afraid to. Everyone in that group is really influential. I offered, I'll bring your breakfast for a whole week. I hesitated, saying, what if I accidentally sent a message to Mr. Leo? That would be the end of me. I added, I'll cover lunch too. She finally gathered her courage and sent me a screenshot. Mr. Leo's profile picture, username, line ID, and even the location were identical to my online boyfriend's. My online boyfriend was named Leo. Leo was also my online boyfriend. Realizing that, I finally felt utterly hopeless. I was also really annoyed. How could someone dare to use a main account for an online romance? Mr. Leo sent me a message right then, showing no hesitation. It was a few pictures, his outfit changes for the weekend. Baby, I've put on the outfits for Saturday. What do you think looks better? It suddenly hit me that I still have a meetup scheduled for this Saturday. And today is already Thursday. That means I only have Friday left to talk things through with him. Break it off. I have to break up with him right away. Knowing I had made the decision, I started thinking carefully about how to say it. I couldn't be honest about why we were breaking up. But if I ended things suddenly, he'd definitely start to suspect something. After weighing everything, I decided to bring it up during a video call. I typed stiffly, I don't want to meet anymore. What's going on? I could sense his careful hesitation through the screen. I typed back, you're not my type. Leo quickly replied, then what kind of person do you like? Tell me. I'll try to become that way. Okay. No. The message typing remained at the top of the screen. A flicker of concern crossed my mind, but then I remembered that this was Leo, the one who had made inappropriate advances toward his female colleague, and I steeled myself. We should just end things. No. I won't break up with you. I'm not agreeing to that. He kept sending messages one after another, and when he didn't get a reply, he called me straight through video chat. He never acted like this before. He's usually very considerate, even if he wanted to talk on voice. He'd always ask me first if it was a good time. He seemed really rushed. I was anxious too. I was afraid I couldn't get through it, even more so that the truth might come out. In a rush, I simply removed his contact. The world went quiet after that. Online relationships have one advantage. Once you delete someone's contact info, they can seem like they never existed in your life at all, leaving no trace behind. My quiet phone was set aside. I stared at the dark screen, feeling like crying. How could this happen? How could my online romance be with that hypocritical Leo? He used to join me in criticizing him. Didn't he realize he was talking about himself? For a moment, I felt like scrolling through our old chat messages again. But then I remembered he'd already been deleted from my phone. I lay on the bed, holding my empty phone, closing my eyes, hoping sleep would help ease the sadness of a broken heart. But I couldn't fall asleep at all. He was all I could think about. I met him in a combat-style video game. It was kind of a knight in shining armor moment. He showed up just in time when my teammate was yelling at me. With a few quick shots, he took out the hidden enemy, pulled me to safety, and gave that constant ranting teammate a sharp response too. Though he was cursing at the time as well. All I could think was how impressive he looked when he spoke up, even though we were both arguing. After the game, I quickly sent him a private message. Can we play together again sometime? He gave a cold reply. No. I thought our connection had ended there. But then I got matched with him again. I followed closely behind him like a shadow. He finally gave in, probably fed up with me tagging along, and agreed to hang out with me from then on. We met online and eventually grew close in real life. Those sweet memories were genuine, not pretend. I stared up at the ceiling and let out a long, quiet sigh. How did he end up being Leo? I didn't get much sleep that night, and still felt drained when I showed up at work the next day. My colleague Emma at the next desk was unusually energetic, sliding her chair close to mine. Wake up! Boss is back at the office today. I widened my eyes. Isn't he only here on Tuesdays and Thursdays? Who knows? Emma shrugged. It's his company. He can show up whenever he wants. But according to Emily from the executive office, Emma whispered, Mr. Leo looks really tense today. Everyone's on high alert. It's best not to draw his attention. I nodded carefully. As she slid her chair away and walked off, I still couldn't help wondering if Leo's return to the office had something to do with me. Though that might sound a bit self-centered. I couldn't shake my worry. Could he possibly recognize me? Probably not. I racked my brain trying to recall our past conversations, but still couldn't tell if I'd given myself away in any way. I finally regretted it then. I should have just blocked him instead of deleting the chat too early. At least if he blocked me, I'd still be able to see our chat history. I could go over the conversation records to check where I might have slipped up. Then I'd have something solid to work with. I stayed on edge all morning, but nothing happened. I quietly told myself not to overthink things and headed to the company cafeteria with a coworker for lunch. To my surprise, Leo was there too. He was sitting in a prime spot on the second floor, one hand resting under his chin as he looked down over the entire dining area. Felt like he was searching for someone, more likely looking for me. Without thinking, I stepped behind Emma, trying to hide my jaw and nose from yesterday's glance, afraid he might recognize me. Emma looked confused. What's wrong? I made up an excuse. Lucas is over there. He's really annoying me. Lucas was one of my male colleagues who had been persistent in trying to get close to me. Or rather, it wasn't really pursuing, it was more like constant, unwelcome attention. Emma knew how I felt about him and stepped in front of me, protective like a mother hen shielding her chick. Don't worry. I've got your back. I kept my head down the whole time, just hoping Leo would see the top of my hair. I thought everything would be fine like this. But during lunch, every colleague received an email from the CEO's office. A survey about unnecessary overtime work. Colleagues whispered quietly, guessing that the department head's recent formal overtime practices might have upset Mr. Leo, and quickly clicked the link to fill out the questionnaire. I opened it as well and filled in my name and department honestly. The questionnaire redirected to a new page. My eyes immediately fixed on a question that seemed unrelated to the survey, but still required an answer. Call sign for a combat-style online game. The coworkers around me looked puzzled, murmuring about why this detail had to be included. I was suddenly chilled with sweat upon seeing it. Thought, Leo knows me now. Turns out he really is this perceptive. Just from a few words. He's figured out I'm in his company and is using this chance to draw me out. I took a deep breath and forced myself to stay calm. I made up a random gaming username, quickly checked a few boxes, and submitted the form. The surrounding area was filled with loud voices. I quietly told myself to stay calm. Leo still didn't know who I was, so at least I could buy some more time. I ate with a mix of hope and unease in my heart. After lunch break, Emily from the CEO's office sent me a message. Sophia, come up to the office for a moment, mister. Leo wants to see you. That moment, my heart finally sank. I knew the situation was likely already exposed, but I still wanted to try one last time. Before leaving, I put on a mask. Emily was waiting for me by the elevator. She paused when she saw me wearing a mask. Are you feeling unwell? I nodded. It wouldn't be good if I passed it on to Mr. Leo. That makes sense. She walked me all the way to the door of the CEO's office. I tried several times to read her expression and figure out what was going on, but she only gave me a helpless look. My shoulders sank in disappointment. She tried to comfort me. Maybe it's something good. I frowned and thought, what kind of good news could possibly bring Leo to me? That's way beyond any normal level, completely out of my league. The only explanation was that he had a reason to reach out to me. It must be about online dating. I forced myself to calm down, bracing for the worst, and finally stepped through the door with a heavy heart. Inside, Leo was preparing tea. His suit jacket lay casually over the armrest of the sofa. His sleeves rolled up and his collar open, as he carefully handled a white jade-like teacup with calm precision. Suddenly, he looked up at me, his gaze briefly pausing. Why are you wearing a mask? I pretended to cough lightly. Just a bit under the weather. Perfect, he said, lifting the teacup high toward me. Dried tangerine peel helps soothe the lungs. Why don't you try it? For a moment, I couldn't tell if he was being genuine or not. I asked hesitantly, Mr. Leo, is there something you need me for? He set the teacup down calmly and said, Sophia, I heard you get along well with your colleagues. I replied cautiously, not bad, I guess. Then could you help clear up a rumor for me? Leo looked at me with a relaxed but attentive expression. Staring at me like that, I suddenly had the strange feeling he knew exactly what I was thinking. I instinctively touched the mask on my face. Still there. Thank goodness. What rumor? I asked, accusing me of mistreating a female colleague. He said with a reluctant look, there seems to be some misunderstanding in our department. Chloe's departure wasn't caused by me. In an instant, a possibility I'd never considered before came to mind. If Leo didn't harass a female subordinate, could it be that the woman pursued him and then falsely accused him instead? Leo's response confirmed my suspicion. He tossed his phone toward me. You don't believe me? Ask her yourself. This whole situation has really been hard on me. The voice on the other end was Chloe, someone I hadn't heard from in a long time. She apologized repeatedly and explained that she had made a poor choice by pursuing Mr. Leo, and admitted she shouldn't have blamed him unfairly. I didn't want to listen anymore, so I ended the call. Leo was sipping tea again and said, she only told you about this, but I don't know how many people you've mentioned it to. I hope you can help clear my name. I thought to myself, I only shared this with one person. That was my online lover, the person sitting right in front of me. Leo asked, can you handle this properly? Yeah, I replied, a little awkwardly. My nervousness before entering the office gradually eased thanks to this odd conversation. I figured Leo probably still didn't know who I was. He only guessed that his online friend was in our department, but he hadn't figured out exactly who it was yet. He'd need to look further into it. He had come to me just to help clear up a rumor. I quietly let out a breath, glad that it was all okay. Then let's add each other online. He suddenly said. I widened my eyes. Huh? He smiled gently. Do I really have no right to know about your progress at work? Why, yes, of course. In a rush, I quickly logged into my secondary line account and scanned the code to add Leo. Seeing my familiar profile picture reappear in the chat window, I suddenly felt an odd mix of emotions. Leo stared at my secondary account's profile picture for a few seconds as well. Finally, he smiled and said, "That works out fine. You should get back to work now." The rest of the day passed without a hitch. At night, I lay in bed. I stared blankly at Leo's profile picture in the chat window. If the video call hadn't gone wrong, what would we have been talking about? Maybe we'd talk about meeting in person? After all, we're going to meet tomorrow. He'd keep reminding me of the time and place for our meeting tomorrow. He'd nervously go over what he's planning to wear, what we'll eat, and what we'll do together the next day. He'd show just how excited he was through his actions. To make it even more heartfelt, he might say he's going to kiss me senseless when we meet. I was lost in this sweet daydream, only to be snapped back by the cold reality all at once. He's Leo. Even if he's no longer the strict boss I once thought him to be, he's still my boss. It's better to end things now after this video mishap than to panic when we finally meet in person. I repeated "better break up early" in my mind, then quickly put down my phone and went to sleep. I slept straight through until 10:30. This was the time we had agreed to meet. I had no intention of showing up, so I idly scrolled through my phone. Suddenly, Leo posted a new update on his social media feed. The photo showed the coffee shop where we were supposed to meet. He wrote, "Waiting for you." I couldn't help but mutter to myself, what does he mean by waiting for me? We've already broken up. Why would he go ahead and show up alone like this? I put my phone down, trying to calm myself. It's got nothing to do with me. He's not waiting for me, there's no reason to care. No matter how much I tried to deny it, Leo's post still stirred up a wave of emotion deep inside me. Even while brushing my teeth, I couldn't help but reach for my phone. I kept checking Leo's latest update over and over again. The photo showed 2 coffee cups. He'd already ordered my favorite, the walnut brownie latte. He wrote, "Hope you'll come." I dropped my phone as if shocked by electricity, then repeated to myself in the mirror, "I'm not going. I don't want to go. I won't walk into a trap like this." I didn't pick up my phone again until after I finished breakfast. The line notification suddenly rang out. I instinctively thought it was Leo calling, and for a moment I felt flustered. Each ring after another felt like an urgent warning. I mustered up the courage to pick up my phone, only to find it was my colleague Emma on the other end. She sounded thrilled. "Big news. Wanna hear?" "What?" "Mr. Leo just updated his social media feed, and he posted several times in a row. It looks like he's waiting for someone. Could he be getting serious about someone?" She sent me screenshots of those posts at the same time. I was a bit stunned. For some reason, I instinctively thought those posts were only visible to me. It wasn't like that at all. In fact, he openly shared it with everyone to see. Everyone in the group is talking about this now. Can't figure out who's lucky enough to have Mr. Leo waiting around. Wow! Could it be that an old tree finally blooming after years? I couldn't keep up with her gossip, still caught up in thoughts about the social media post. I only added Leo using a secondary account. He didn't know who I was, so naturally wouldn't have set his posts to be visible just to me. But deep down, I kind of wanted him to know. What am I even doing? I had decided to stay away. Yet here I was, suddenly eager to get close. Still, I probably do want to go. Don't I? Otherwise, why would I have suddenly felt like organizing my makeup last night? Or digging out that pretty dress I hadn't worn in ages? I stared at the mirror, trying to figure out what I truly felt. With a quiet sigh, I finally accepted it. I quickly got myself ready and headed out for the meeting. The taxi took me to the Garden restaurant in the city center. Since Leo had mentioned his plans several times, I knew exactly where he'd be and what he'd be doing at any given time, even without him reminding me. Sure enough, the very next moment, I scrolled through his latest social media post. The photo showed the Garden restaurant in downtown, with a note, "Waiting somewhere else." I put my phone away and suddenly understood the purpose behind Leo's social media updates. He was leading me on. I'd already fallen right into the trap, completely unaware. Watching the city lights blur past on either side of the road, I thought to myself, well, if I'm hooked, then so be it. It was bound to happen sooner or later. Rather than keep living in constant worry at work, I might as well use this chance to finally clear things up. The Garden restaurant operated on a membership-only basis, with quite high entry standards. I had been worried I might be turned away at the door. But as soon as I stepped out of the taxi, a waiter respectfully approached. "Miss Sophia, I'll guide you inside." I thought Leo must have known all along. When exactly? Was it when I first walked into his office, or when I added him online? The waiter led me all the way to Leo's private dining room. This was probably the most beautifully located private room in the entire restaurant, with scenery that was stunning from every angle, except for Leo himself, who was sitting inside. He was actually wearing his custom-made suit with tie and vest, exactly what he'd wear to work, looking so formal that I nearly called him Mr. Leo on instinct. I couldn't help but think, hadn't we gone through several outfits already? Why didn't he choose any of them at all? Leo stood up to greet me and politely helped me settle into my seat, then poured tea for me with care, asking, "Are you feeling better from your cold? You know perfectly well it was just pretend." The words were out before I could stop myself, and I instantly regretted them. I shouldn't have been so casual. For a brief moment, I almost mistook him for someone I'd connected with online, but the truth was clear. He was Mr. Leo all along. No matter how attentive he was still Mr. Leo. Leo just smiled. "I thought I'd have to play along with you." It turned out he was the one putting on a show in the office yesterday. I couldn't help but ask, "When did you figure it out?" "The night we broke up." I was stunned. "So early?" Leo picked up his teacup, ready to explain. "When you said we were breaking up, I was really hurt, especially when you cut me off completely. I felt down for a while after that. I thought to myself, that couldn't have been such a long time. But I quickly noticed something was off," he said, looking at me. "It was your attitude. After seeing my face on video, you didn't just hang up in panic, you also became unusually distant toward me. That's when I thought, you must know who I am. Maybe you even dislike me." Then I remembered how you mentioned the pointless overtime work earlier today. Although I've never had any history of inappropriate behavior toward female colleagues, when I connected it with a few things you've shared before, I was surprised to find that everything actually matches up. I figured you must be one of my company's employees. In Daniel's department, Sophia. Wait a second. How did you figure out I'm Sophia? I thought he could only narrow it down to the department. That part took some time. Leo said, "I didn't get a clear look at your face, but I've heard your voice many times before. So I reviewed the meeting recordings from your department and quickly narrowed it down to you." The absurdity of it all made me want to applaud. With that kind of sharp insight, he should have been a detective. I went through a lot of chat records. You've listed several reasons you dislike me: arrogance, rudeness, and being aloof, he said. But all of that is based on your belief that I harassed a female subordinate. Now that you know I never harassed her, do you still think I'm arrogant and rude? I paused for a moment. This really was due to bias. When you dislike someone, even small things can seem much bigger in your mind. But I truly couldn't put into words how I feel about him now. Old impressions are still very strong. I couldn't fully separate the person he is now from the Mr. Leo the first once knew. Baby, you're like this. He sniffled a little, looking really downcast. I'm so upset. I was so startled I nearly dropped my teacup. If I only heard his voice and didn't see him. I'd think this was a romantic partner online pouting and asking me to comfort them. But the important thing right now is that I've actually seen him. The one making this kind of sound was still Leo, the same man who's always serious and composed at work. What on earth is he trying to do? Stammered. Why, you don't act like this. What's wrong with how I'm acting? He said in a voice I'd only ever heard through headphones, complaining. You believed someone else's lies and misunderstood me. Now you're ready to break up over that misunderstanding. Don't I have the right to feel hurt? I really didn't know how to respond. I awkwardly changed the subject. Why would Chloe say bad things about you? It seems she only spread rumors about him to me. She saw us messaging. Leo said. She probably figured out our relationship and was upset that I asked her to quit on her own. So she warned you in advance. Setting me up. I pressed my lips together. I didn't know what to say for a moment. Baby. I've always been respectful. Once I noticed her harmful intentions, I immediately let her go. Leo said. I just didn't expect things to turn out like this. I never saw it coming either. It was as if a butterfly gently fluttered its wings, setting off a massive wave between me and Leo. Can we stay together? He asked with genuine hope. Logically, since the misunderstanding was cleared up, there shouldn't be a reason to break up. But thinking about being in a relationship with Leo, I still felt something off. He's Mr. Leo after all. Leo noticed my hesitation and didn't push further, whispering, Can we add each other back online? He looked so sad. I really miss you. I can't fall asleep without chatting with you before bed. I remembered how restless I'd been these past few days, how hard it had been for me too. I picked up my phone and scanned his Line account again using my secondary profile. That meetup wasn't exactly a success, nor was it a failure. From then on, Leo's story began circulating around the office. He posted 8 consecutive social media updates. Did he finally meet the person he was waiting for? Monday morning at work, my coworkers were still eagerly talking about it. Emma, who sat at the neighboring desk, was unusually excited and turned to me with a playful grin. Mr. Leo's back at the office again today. Do you think he'll come in 5 days straight from now on? I thought quietly. It's quite possible. After all, he messaged me last night. I really love the feeling of working together with my sweetheart. He probably won't be here on Wednesday. He's heading to headquarters for a meeting, Emma said. Word is, Leo's planning to gradually hand over responsibilities, and he already oversees several branch offices. He wouldn't stay just at our location. I nodded along, saying, Maybe. She frowned, gently rubbing my cheek. Why are you being so dismissive? I sighed softly. I was just reminded of an old memory. Back when we were online dating, Leo once mentioned to me that his dad used to run a pancake stall. When the business wasn't going well, he'd toss a few balls of dough at Leo and tell him to practice shaping them. Turns out, those dough balls were actually company projects. I was silently thinking how imaginative he could be, when suddenly the person I was thinking about walked past me quietly. My heart skipped a beat. His gaze lingered briefly on Emma and me. Then he headed straight into the office at the far end of the main hall, the new department lead space. Emma quickly pulled her hand back. I could have sworn Mr. Leo just looked at me. His expression felt kind of cold. What if he's going to fire me? She stammered, panic rising. I finally got rid of that annoying Daniel. I can't leave now. I quickly reassured her. It'll be fine. Don't overthink it. Leo's message seemed to confirm that she hadn't been imagining things. Why did she grab your face? You could practically feel his pouting through the screen. I've never gotten to do that. To keep Emma from getting let go. I had no choice but to calm him down. I'll give you a face massage whatever way you want. When? How about lunchtime today? He smoothly extended an invitation. I brought you some food. Come up and eat with me. I hesitated. That might not be appropriate. It's all homemade. Leo knew exactly how to get his way. Don't you want to try my cooking? You said before you really wanted to taste it. I finally typed out a hesitant okay. Leo really knows how to cook. He makes all my favorite dishes. The only problem is that we're eating in his office, just one glance upward. And it's easy to feel uneasy afterward. I silently focused on my meal. Suddenly he spoke. I'm going to pinch your cheek. I froze in place. He rubbed his fingertips awkwardly, then said confidently, You promised me you'd let me. I've grown used to his playful antics. So I leaned in on my own and said, Go ahead. 1 second. 2 seconds, 5 full seconds passed. Leo didn't move at all. Curious. I turned my head, and just then he reached out. His thumb brushed across my lips. A firm touch that sent a tingling wave through me. I blinked lightly. He stood up in one motion, adjusting his clothes with a quick, awkward tug, as if trying to hide something, then hurriedly said, Suddenly remembered I've got some work to finish. Without another word, he walked straight into the inner lounge. When Leo came out again, I had almost finished my meal. He must have washed his face. The strands of hair across his forehead were still damp, and his eyes looked a little glossy. But his face was even redder than before he went in. He sat down on the coffee table in front of me, giving me a look that wasn't quite flirtatious but still carried a hint of it, and asked, How long will it take you to get used to this? I immediately understood what he meant. We talked about it when we said goodbye on Saturday. He still wanted to be in a relationship. I didn't want to, and I told him it was hard for me to adjust to his change in role. He promised he'd give me time to get used to it. I just didn't expect the time to be so short enough that I wasn't ready at all. I kept my head down and shared what I was truly worried about. It just feels strange to be in a relationship with a boss. Then don't think of me as your boss. So, what should I be to you? Boyfriend? Brother? He paused for 2 seconds, then added, Even your pet would work. It's really hard to get used to. It made sense for an online boyfriend to say something like that. But it was utterly unbelievable coming from Mr. Leo in his sharp suit. Please, give me a little more time. I beg you. Sure, he said without hesitation. Then added, I'll listen to your answer after I finish washing the lunchbox. With that, he picked up the empty lunchbox from the table and walked off. I thought he was leaving too fast, so I quickly reached out to stop him. He paused and whispered softly, Baby with you. I'm never really Mr. Leo. I stood there stunned and let him go. Leo washed dishes quickly, faster than he ever did when washing his face. He knelt down in front of me with eager eyes, waiting for an answer. What else could the answer possibly be? I'm not really against him. You know, I whispered. We could give it a try. He smiled and gently kissed my knee. You're such a smart one. I think dating will help us adjust faster too. The kiss was through my pants, but I still felt the tingling sensation. I pulled my legs slightly and looked up at him. Why here? Keeping a promise, he said. Who was it that asked me to kiss every part of her body back then? I suddenly remembered the bold promises I'd made during our chats. I was just joking. Doesn't count, I said, feeling embarrassed. But I took it seriously. Leo straightened up and kissed my shoulder again. Still through the thin fabric. Still tingling. Let's stop here for now, he murmured into my ear. This, sweetie, will take some time to get used to. Dazedly walking out of the CEO's office, I suddenly remembered to add one more thing. We can't let anyone in the company know we're dating. He typed lazily. Understood. It was already the third day of dating Leo. And I broke down. The main reason, he was just too clingy. He'd message me the moment he had free time. I couldn't possibly ignore his messages, and constantly opening our chat window made it easy for coworkers to notice. Emma from the desk next to mine noticed. She sounded surprised. Wait. Your chat contact's profile picture is the same as Mr. Leo's. I panicked and wanted to close the chat right away, but worried it would look too obvious. So I forced a laugh. Haha. Really? Yes, she said, squinting at the note. Confused. What's this Nicholas even for? I mimicked Leo's tone and made something up. He sells pancake wraps. Are they good? Not bad. Can you grab one for me tomorrow? Then. Sure. That ended the tense little chat. After that, I wasn't daring to open Leo's message box again without careful thought. Leo. Ignored and left out. Didn't stay quiet for long. Even during a meeting at headquarters, he managed to send me 23 unread messages. I still didn't reply, focused on my work instead. Closing time. Leo called me. Hey love. Wanna play a game later? Not now. I'm stuck with overtime work. He paused. Does your new supervisor really like dragging out pointless overtime too? Quickly said. It's real. There's still stuff I haven't finished. Blame you. I muttered under my breath. He laughed heartily and added, then I'll come in and work with you. I glanced around. The office was almost empty. Guessing by the time Leo arrived, nearly everyone would have left. So I relaxed and replied, come on then. When Leo showed up, he brought me a bowl of classic small wontons from an old local shop. I teased him. Is this what you serve your employees for overtime meals? He smiled and ruffled my hair. Eat something first, then I'll take you somewhere better later. There's no time to snack. Before I could finish speaking, he lifted me off my seat and calmly settled into my spot. I stared in surprise. What are you doing? Helping you with your work. He said casually. You blamed me. Didn't you? Then I should make it up to you. The situation was so absurd that I instinctively blurted out. You can. Underestimating me? He glanced at the computer screen, then quickly scanned the documents beside him. Confident as he said, this one I actually do know how to handle. I watched him work with a mix of doubt and curiosity. To my surprise, he really was skilled. It startled me so much I nearly choked on 2 dumplings. Mr. Leo, who'd stayed late to help me through the middle of the work, playfully said, sweetheart, I'm getting hungry too. I handed him the spoon and bowl. Then you eat too. Feed me, he said. Well, we've already kissed before. I thought to myself and scooped a dumpling toward his mouth. He opened his mouth and took it in. One by one. We each ate a dumpling until they were all gone, and the overtime work was coming to an end. Leo shut down his computer and looked at me with pride. Now what do you say? I truly praised him. That was amazing. Want a reward? He said straight out. I'll treat you to dinner later. Not short on money. What do you need? Then, I could use a kiss from my girlfriend. Well, since he was asking for it, I ended up giving him the kind of kiss he clearly wanted. Leo's idea of a kiss was definitely different from mine. Just as I tried to step back, he gently supported my lower back and lifted me onto my desk. Then he held the back of my head firmly and slowly deepened the kiss. The kiss had a strange flavor like dumplings. I let out a soft sound, trying to signal that I wanted him to stop. Suddenly, in the quiet office, someone gasped loudly. We quickly pulled apart, and there stood a person at the doorway, holding a bag. It was a coworker who had come back unexpectedly. Her face was pale with shock, repeating over and over, "Mr. Leo, I didn't see anything. I swear I didn't see a thing." Then she turned and fled in a hurry. The room fell silent for a few seconds. Leo gently wiped the corner of my lips and asked uncertainly, "What do we do now?" "Let it be public," I said. "Even if we didn't say anything." With how fast rumors spread. By the time I came in tomorrow, everyone at work would probably already know. Leo said those 2 words again. Understood. After those 8 posts waiting for others, Leo posted one more. The photo showed my desk, with my badge clearly visible, my name, department, and ID picture all on display. He added the caption, "Got him." He looked completely satisfied, while I was visibly worried. The thought of the gossip storm waiting for me tomorrow makes my head spin. "Why isn't today Friday?" Leo suggested. "How about working from my office tomorrow? I'd rather get torn apart by rumors right here," I said with a huff, "than end up being kissed to death in your office." He let out a soft chuckle. Suddenly, he leaned down until his nose brushed against mine. I was caught off guard by the sudden closeness, but he just said, "Still breathing, haven't been kissed to death yet." So childish. Smiling, he took my hand and gave it a little shake. "Come on," he said. "Let's go eat a big meal."